Well, hello people, and welcome back to another episode of City Showcase. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're looking at the city of Gridgrad by Foamy-esque, a near 275,000 population snowfall build on a custom map. This city is one of the biggest CS1 builds we've ever had submitted, and should be an absolute treat to look around. Don't forget, if you want your work to feature in the next episode, there is a link in the video description to a Google form. Fill that out, and I'll do my best to showcase your work next time. Otherwise, let's get stuck into our first snowfall submission, shall we? But before we get on with today's video, a quick shout out to our channel sponsor, Instant Gaming. You can find a link in the video description. That does help directly support the channel, whilst in return getting great deals on all your favourite games, including the Cities Skylines franchise, Frontier games, and The Sims, alongside whatever other games you might like to enjoy. And also check out what's trending on the homepage for a great deal on the latest releases. Big shout out to Instant Gaming for supporting the channel for so long. Don't forget to check them out, and let's get on with today's video. So with today's build, everyone, of course, with it being a snowfall map, it's dangerously white, given the fact it's the only colour in the map. So I'm going to record this at about 7:30 in the morning, where things are a little more ambient. I guess there's a much more of a warmer glow to proceedings as opposed to blinding migraine-inducing white, which is a symptom of the snowfall maps. But as always with any city showcase, let's give ourselves a sense of the orbital view. And I think it's immediately clear from Foamy's building that he's an incredibly seasoned builder. I mean, just to look at some of this interchange work over here. Holy crap, look at this. Just wild road and rail interchanges. Like, what a piece of art that is, right? That is absolutely stunning. And Foamy made this map himself as well, so you know, there's no map builder infrastructure here. It's all his, which is very impressive indeed. But why don't we start over here? We'll crawl our way down this lower coastline and then explore the rest of Gridgrad, which is a real blend of grids and curves and interchanges through the whole area, isn't it? Stunning build, really nice. But we'll start down here in perhaps quieter proceedings. It's a mass industry, lots of sewage work over here. Tons of different areas. Let me just adjust the lighting slightly here. It's a little dark, isn't it, when we're actually... There we go. Just so it's not like this white, you know? Because that's a little too much for my eyes, and I'm sure literally everyone else's as well. There you go. Maybe 5 to 9 is a little more tame, isn't it? Wonderful. Foamy did actually send me a theme mixer file, but when I went to look at it in the submission, it was actually deleted off Google Drive, so unfortunately I couldn't load it in. So we are just on the very basic snowfall theme. But out here, we'll see oil processing, mixed with loads of different stuff, really. We've got some nice little assets over here. Which are these? These emerging downtown assets. I think they are, aren't they? Yeah. But I really like this industrial waterfront. Loads of different stuff happening here, including sewage burning down. Even got a really nice integration of the wave power plant here. Not an asset we see very often at all. In fact, is that even a node-controlled canal? I think it is, isn't it? With appropriate fence detailing. The Foamy said he's been working on this city for years, and when you stumble across a little area like that, ignoring the map fog, of course, it's clear to see. It has been years, hasn't it? That's just a treat for what's in store for us today, I think. So, vast oil area through here. Coming into a port. Which again is a really nice execution of official assets. Lots of fencing here and containers to complement the port space. Really nice. Nice busy port as well. Little one-way traffic flow system. With services, office space, and cycling lanes also present through the area. Before we come across our first highway in the city, that just goes down to a regular arterial here, serving the outside connection. And we'll see a vast oil refinery. I think there's one thing we'll learn from Foamy today, it's the art of layering. Seeing in that interchange we saw at the start of the video just then, as a testament as to what's going to happen for the rest of the build. A little low there perhaps. Maybe a little bit. I'm not going to call that out though. Not at all. Wouldn't dare. Not when the rest of the build is so well executed. And isn't this nice? Some slightly floating props there, probably just a prop anarchy setting, I imagine. But noting the use of very small 1x1 vanilla industry here as part of your wider cargo yard, that's so nice. Of course, we've got the industry plaza present here as well. And just a moment to appreciate the wider flow. It's an absolutely vast build, like nearly 300,000 people without any recode buildings in. Is some serious going for CS1. Over here we'll see the old classic car test factory, which you've actually used. Oh, that's so cool. I love what you've done with that. Isn't that fun? So if you use the industrial highway as a bridge section, and then use some of the little prop cars as if they're ready for testing, of course, next to the car factory, which is next door. Really fun. Nice little race circuit, that. Never seen anyone use the prop cars down here before, either. See some back of commercial respected here as well with those little delivery alleyways. Nice little bit of emerging downtowns present here. Repetitions of commercial assets. It's just a great looking city, isn't it? It looks so natural. Just like the flow of an alleyway with a fence guarding it off. These little intricacies that I really take a lot of pleasure in from CS1. Node controlled cul-de-sacs here as well. Subtle little details that really add quite a lot to a build. Here we'll see a modular house factory orientated against the highway. Great positioning here. We're coming into stadiums. And yet more industry integrated within the town itself, really. We've seen that with all the oil and the forestry here. It's not all in one dedicated area. It's kind of spread out across the area here, isn't it? Got some really nice corner emerging downtowns here. Again, with the backs of the buildings respected. Like, look at that hedge detail in there to get into the alleyway. Why, that's really good for me. That's some of the finest alleyway detail we might have ever seen. I'm an enormous lover of that, to be quite honest. Fantastic. I know I'm going to miss so much details in the city. Like, if this much effort has gone into one block of commercial, we're going to miss a lot. I just know it. And hello, custom bridge. As the trains span across this big cable-stayed suspension bridge. This looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Great stuff, that. And that goes off to serve our outside connections multiple different ways. Train police, I imagine, will be very happy with today's work. Possibly some of the most satisfied train police we're likely to see actually today. Coming into certainly more of a mid-rise here, a bit more of a downtown setting of Brooklyn and Queens. Vanilla housing also present here as well. With school campuses, ice rinks behind them. Little cafes here. What asset is that, actually? Have a little look, shall we? Oh, it's part of the ice rink, is it? Okay. It's been a while since I've placed any of the snowfall assets, really. All this just makes sense as well, doesn't it? Is that custom or is that part of the asset? Yeah, I think it's part of the asset, that is it. I don't remember that little tree ever spawning on a Brooklyn and Queens building. That's fine, though. We'll check out this downtown in a second here. Actually, we'll do that now before we head further down the coast. Heading back towards the waterfront, more Brooklyn and Queens in varying formations. And I'm really loving the formation of your city blocks. Like all this little space here. And it continues with this big bridge around it, with some of the hotels also present here as well. Foamy actually left in his submission to acknowledge the placement of the hotels DLC, something he's particularly proud of. There's another one here as well. So yeah, I think just the formation of the city blocks that Foamy's got here is really wonderful. There's all this stuff here, right? Yeah, I think some of the finest block formation we've seen, Foamy. So perhaps go a little early, a little bit premature on that maybe, but initial impressions so far are very welcome indeed. We're also seeing the Brutalism pack present for the first time in the city. 393 and 1,081. Let's take an opportunity to look at the public transport figures, shall we? With easily the most amount of tourists we've ever seen. 13,000 to essentially 2,000. near enough 15,000 people on the transit network a week. We'll take a look at the transit map, which is pretty packed, isn't it? Look at that. Look at all those transit networks. Holy smokes. There's a lot. So many of them. Great stuff. Of course, with it being CS1, there's the conga of berries here. Wonderful stuff. The city is making use of a number of simulation mods. So figures might be perhaps skewed or stretched to what you might expect in vanilla. But hello detailing, right? Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? Little decals, the food markets with lights in them, with hordes of people moving through. This is what I've thought about when I say realistic walkable concrete space. It's all this stuff here. We've even got some mass transit flags in. Details and cannons around a statue of Jerry Sr. What a wonderful transit hub. Really nice for me. Like, really nice, mate. Simply stunning build to just walk across. More boat hotels down the front here too, before we really are experiencing something of a downtown here. Some banking towers and skyscraper towers present. Compared to the main beefcake skyline over on the hill there. Here again, just a comment on the formation of the city blocks with the car parking behind it. Parks in here. I think if you're going to walk away inspired from Foamy's city today, it is the formation of these blocks, isn't it? That are just so welcome. I think it's quite clear when someone has a really strong knowledge of the asset pool. Foamy is absolutely one of those people. I mean, there's a deluxe hotel here with another little waterfront, not a beach you would ideally want to swim on in this weather. Which is currently minus 24 degrees. Absolutely brutal. But a nice execution of a park front. Mix of all the different park assets, extra detailing to complement them as well. In multiple instances, all through here. This is all prop work. This build is quite breathtaking already, not because it's so cold, because it's so good. More hotel placements here. Nice placement of the Nature Reserve Museum. Before this park dissipates off into a little seaside resorts building, is that one? Looks like it, doesn't it? Again, with extra detailing here, just sat at the edge of a really wonderful little mid-rise, medium density space right in the city centre here. Here we go, there's some of the brutalist buildings in play. So you must have only finished this really recently, Fermi, this build. He said the race, in his submission, the race day DLC was essentially about to break this build, so we did actually have some difficulty getting into it. But here we go, look at that train interchange. Are we happy, train, please? You should be. That is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Stunning networks. I mean, like, it's clear to see Foamy has some very nice ideas here. Leaving the medium density space and carrying on through this area, we'll see the fusion reactor. Again, not an asset we see overly often. Especially with a park life gate out the front of it. The Jangbisoft building, this must be a named build, I'm sure of it. HIT Black Diamond. Guessing something Institute Technology, maybe. Given the fact it's partnered with other industrial looking buildings and the high-tech modern stuff like the Pyramid, the medical labs and the Nano Center. I'm going to be assuming this is some sort of technology campus, if you like. Given the fact we also have campus buildings next door to it as well. Which is a really nice integration. Look at these two campus assets just out here by themselves. And you've repainted the dorms, haven't you? Into almost like a brown colour. Which really lets them sit super nicely with the Brooklyn and Queen stuff, doesn't it? Isn't that a wonderful... Yeah, this has been repainted into those RGB codes if you're interested. Very nice for me. That's a really nice use of repaint to blend them in with Brooklyn and Queens there. Definitely is a bit of on-site campus accommodation, isn't it? Great stuff. Leaving this, we come across the highway, which is now scything its way through the city centre. So that we can enjoy many different crossings and interchanges here. Coming over into residential blocks and the countdown clock for CS2. We also have one of the little disaster memorials, doomsday vault things. Again, more really immaculately formed city blocks. This time with emerging downtowns. Again, just a sense of the road hierarchy through here. Yeah, the frame rate is going to chug on this one, everyone, at times. Bear with me, it's a very big and very old city. So, bear with it if you can, please. Big residential swath through here, loads of different styles, tower blocks, European suburbia. Like really awkward little tiny 1x1 base game stuff. Art Deco pack. Huge residential districts. Some really nice medium density spikes in them as well. With more wonderfully formed blocks. On pretty much every corner you look, you're going to find something here. I think we're probably going to get quite a lot of people wanting to explore this city, so I think I might leave the link to the Steam workshop down to this build in the video description if you're interested. Because, I'm sure people are just going to want to come and crawl through the city blocks here. But really nice residential districts, especially as the highway is cutting right through the middle of it all here. With these big, extremely busy train lines moving near constantly, isn't it? It doesn't really stop. As we leave this, the highway interchange opens up into this absolute gorgeous configuration. That is absolutely stunning. Possibly one of the best interchanges we've seen. I know we had a submission last year that was titled "These are some of the best interchanges we've seen," but this is going to push it, I think. That is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? You could watch that for hours. I think we'll certainly have a video or a short of this up on the channel at least, following the highways through this build. Let's cross over onto the island, which certainly has some unique characteristics for it. Farming is the initial takeaway, given the fact we have many crop fields here, which is made up of a few different configurations. What are we working with? So we've got medium crop fields and 4 silos. I like the configuration of that. And then the silos continue with actual zoned industry over here. And then coming into some crop and warehouse vibes. With some livestock also at play here too. Don't eat yellow snow, everyone. Is the take-home point from today. There's a lot of yellow snow over here. And then a little farming town. Tasteful use of suburbia, little corner gas stations to be had. Countryside services. And with emerging downtowns and European suburbia. More really nicely formed city blocks, even in the rural towns we're getting this. Isn't that so nice? It's nice to see the countryside pack here. Don't see it very often. I love the formation of this town, like the row homes and the smaller houses. Really, really beautiful. And then some larger individual farmsteads here, which I really like. That's so nice. With the little hay bales out here. Little private individual farms. Great use of the countryside stuff. And before we arrive at a lighthouse down here. Crossing back over the highway interchange again, Layer City. We'll find a much larger town made up of European suburbia. And some countryside homes as well. Taking us up to the waterfront. Loads of landscaping through here. I actually wonder, is Watch It present in the playset? I don't think I saw it. No, it's not. This is the mods, by the way, if you're interested. There's quite a few at play. No Watch It. I would love to have checked the node count. I might do that before the end of the episode. Because you must be close to it. If not, I've hit it already. Again, great asset combinations. That might be the first time I've ever seen 4 taxis waiting at a stand. That never happens. This is going to be the phrase of the day, isn't it? The formation of city block here. 4 homes, some apartments, a clinic and a pool with a taxi stand. That's just really nice. And it continues all the way through here as well. The respect for the back of a building, I think, has an enormous impact on the quality of your city. Something which Foamy has mastered immaculately here. We'll then come into some industry using these big warehouses from Industrial Evolution, recycling centres, backing onto a couple of prisons with warehouses, and then the Statue of Liberty, which I wasn't expecting, within the grounds of the prison. But immaculately landscaped with lots of repetitive plaza and pathwork in between. Same across the street as well with our car parking. And more wonderfully formed city blocks, mainly of emerging downtowns in this particular area here. Actually left wondering, is this a particular named district, almost an extension of the prison here? Forte Point. I really love the road network. Really nice road planning. Which brings us down to a little custom statue of Jerry Sr. sat on the median, which has been node controlled. Very nice, love that. With some After Dark assets also present here, functioning as commercial. With I'm sure a very cold lady who's wearing a skirt in this weather is shivering. This brings us to the fort, which kind of rounds off that island really, and this whole bottom section of city, with so much detail packed in that just tiny space. And we have all of that to go. So settle in for what's probably likely to be a fairly lengthy city showcase, everyone. So I think we'll come down into the city here and then loop our way around and then tick off this other section on the right side of the highway. So immediately I'd love to get stuck straight into downtown grid grad and see exactly what's going on here. So home makes different towers, art deco, skyscrapers, usual collection of our CS1 DLCs at this point. With a fair amount of vanilla and green cities residential also present here. We've got fusings of the green cities towers, little apartment blocks, classic style. With emerging downtowns also in here as well, you'll notice on the corners. Big train aesthetics coming up here as well. Train hill. Train police should be happy with this. Oh, look at that bridge. My word, isn't that gorgeous? Really like that. That's such a nice arch, isn't it? Which isn't something I thought I would say when I woke up this morning. But that is a really nice bit of infrastructure. Noticing the nature reserve themed details we have down below as well. Fishing cabins. Some fairly treacherous icy slopes, which are getting used though. Getting people in your park here. This way. We have the lodges. Part with lots of different things. Warehouses, small banks, green cities, shopping malls, service points integrated almost immaculately again in with each other. Got a large cargo service point and a small one behind there. The service points really do complement each other very nicely, don't they? We'll also see another Brutalist building in here too. As we approach what is definitely the first half of the skyline. Vanilla towers, art deco. Again, tiny little instances of node controller that are present in the city. That is really easy to miss, you know, all those little elements. I really love the detailing around the edge of the courthouse here, with the fence and the pathways. Great stuff. Reminds me a little of Bavaria's courthouse, actually. And then we'll then see endless European blocks, partnered with the cathedral, the old European-style train station. I thought that's a really nice combination here, isn't it? With the clock tower with the design around it. Outside the city hall. In all this European setting. I really like that. And we will see the Metro Plaza, which looks surprisingly quiet considering how many people we have. Only 590. We might have just caught this on a quiet rotation though. Maybe how many metro lines are here? Yeah, there's a few of them. Plus the buses here too. And the inclusion of the European style train station, of course. It's just the park life areas going through it. Lots of car parking underneath. And then how you've integrated this in. So this jets off through the city. Then again out into more very elaborate interchange work over here. I always like seeing how people integrate train lines, specific, I guess train and metro, into high density areas. And this is a really nice use of it, seeing some of the renewed history buildings for the first time in City Showcase as well. Very nice here. But we'll get stuff back into our towers. Yeah, I bet there's loads of details here. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Holy smokes, everyone. Love this. With the official plaza. Financial districts fusing also present as part of your skyline. Yeah, just really nicely formed city blocks. This brings us back up to the train station here. We've also missed the business arch over this way as well. And part with lots of plaza. And an absolute ton of After Dark commercial. Almost formed up as like a mega beer garden. I've never seen those assets used like that before. Very creative. I really like that. There's lots of entertainment through here. Loads of detailing. Metro integration. Even with a blue recolored metro station. Never seen anyone do that before. With the blue stop. And then some wall-to-wall also features, which brings us back up to those service points over here. And a little bit of snow pedestrianisation also here too. Yeah, with more really nice custom detailing. Just to hammer home here, these are all props in orbit of the larger assets, so there's been time and attention gone into this build, evidently. Also one of my favourites we've had on City Showcase for me. I'm really enjoying Gridgrad. Actually makes me want to fire up Novaria for a little bit until I decide it's too much white and go back to Ilium. Special, and again, just an admiration and a moment to acknowledge the road planning hierarchy. Very much living up to its name of Gridgrad. But with slight curves available in it, not everything's on the right angle. There's 45-degree angles here. Just very well planned, and each of these blocks just completely fleshed out. There's not like an inch of space been wasted. Great stuff. The European buildings continue at the foot of most of the skyline, which is predominantly skyscraper stuff. It just all had the bottom of them. Just time, care, and attention. Parking, you even... Is that custom, or is that on the building, that asset there? Yeah, it comes with the building, that one, doesn't it? That's the bank tower, isn't it, I think? One of the taller banks. Then our residential patterns come back in here. Things that we've seen before, especially the use of these one-by-one vanilla commercial buildings. They're really stunning. And more wonderful city blocks. Being Hearts of Korea also present within the downtown as well. Some nice fusing of base game assets here. Very Soviet, very brutalist kind of style, this, isn't it? Very Eastern European vibes. Love the use of the Japanese offices on the corner by the renewed history. Great stuff. We'll grab the rest of this up to the interchanges. And then we'll grab the rest of the mainland downtown here. This road interchange is absolutely gorgeous. What on earth is happening here? I've never seen one like this before. It was like a fusion of a single point urban and something else, isn't it? Very nice though. Super creative interchange. That really fits some gnarly terrain. And it's getting great flow as well. Well, see, while we're talking about flow, let's have a little check on the traffic percentages. 73%. Traffic manager is obviously present. But there's no major red spots. Here, but that's not exactly bad traffic, is it? To be honest. That was nice. Decent traffic flow, especially for, 275,000 people as well. There's a lot of that. Over here, off the houses, we'll just see some really nice inner city industry combinations of shipping containers with warehouses. Which is a really nice aesthetic, actually. I love how you've integrated warehouses into the city. We've seen this quite a few times now. Just these little warehouses present. I wonder what they're storing from your simulation perspective. Paper. Plastic. Well, I guess we have factories here, don't we? Yeah. There we go. One that is requiring paper and exactly plastics, of course. Yeah, I really love all this industry in the city here. It's very tastefully done, isn't it? Got some post in here too. Power and disaster rescue. Well, this big train corridor splits it all. And we'll find elder care, more residential and commercial. As our big tram road takes us down back toward the major interchange. With some cute little green cities row homes available here as well. Yeah, this brings us back to the interchange here, or the highway barrier, which is the boundary for me exploring. We'll grab the rest of this here. Off the back of our central tower block, where we had our station. All this detailing to admire out here as well. With some really nicely configured financial district stuff. Again, going to show that the financial district isn't complete cheeks. You can actually do some quite nice things with it, can't you? Get all of this. Oh my god. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? So much time has been paid in the downtown here. I love the tower detailing. It's use of flower beds, decals. Simple stuff. Here we'll have some fun with the Plaza's decals by the mall. Before this rest of this space really opens up into what looks like it's kind of mass residential. It actually reminds me a little bit of Philadelphia here with the sunken highway. Retailers Plaza also present as well. With renewed history. Again, with just an absolute adoration of the block formation here. Perfectly measured, not an inch of space has gone to waste. Every little corner factored in. Really, probably one of the best official asset builds I think we've seen in any city showcase. I love this. Again, more node controller cul-de-sac work in what looks like a big memorial park. And across here we'll see hospitals with lots of appropriate buildings surrounding it, saunas, life and death memorials, tons of services, elder care, helicopter rescue here. Also see some European buildings come back here as well, which is blended in with Brooklyn and Queens, which I don't hate, in all honesty. I think they blend quite nicely there, actually. Beyond this, we'll see some more medium density towers pop up, which takes us back to the arterial road. Look at all the layering here. The tunnels back underneath, which is going under out there. Like, what a wonderfully interesting road system this is, isn't it? And I knew we'd find good layers in this build. I take it this emerges out here then, does it? Yeah, that's where those highways come out, isn't it? A really fun way to integrate a highway into the build, especially with this crossing here as well, where they can actually pass over the next section or turn off onto the arterial. This is the first time I've probably ever seen that highway flow system implemented. It always continues, Brooklyn and Queens. Lots of red brick residential vibes out here, isn't there? Beyond the European suburbia, at least. That brings us back to our main arterial road. Again, with more city blocks to find and admire. The configuration of residential is really nice. One of the most blended. Vanilla. Brooklyn and Queens, European. Another little European building in here as well, you'll notice. And here we'll find little entertainment campuses, gyms and ice rinks, of course, which are essentially functioning as parks for the Sims. Real nice. More towers here. Green cities. Green, yeah, it's all... This is green cities, isn't it? These three here. And then modern city centre. And of course, skyscrapers DLC. I really love how all this plaza opens up here. Isn't this gorgeous? As the arterial comes through. Where it looks like we're going to find a campus. Which is immaculately aligned with the arterial and the tourism arch. Which is really splendid. I really love this. Love a campus. All of the unique buildings present here. Even with some of the heating stuff outside the School of Engineering. That's such a nice asset combination, isn't it? Isn't that really stunning? Huge fan of that. Here we've got more campus assets with all three of the unique buildings present. Just a nice, tasteful, compact inner city downtown campus. Again, with love and respect for the transit networks present in the build. Simply gorgeous. We also have a viewpoint here with a cul-de-sac, which takes us into even more high-rise across the other side of the river, which we'll get to. I can even see the Cathedral of Plentitude over there as well, with the Central Park and the Eiffel Tower. What a build. What a build indeed. We'll circle back around to that though. We haven't checked out the island here, with the CS2 logo on it. Which does have a snow-covered ramp up into the ether. Around here. Again, really interesting way to respect this asset. All this detailing present too. Some IT cluster office space. Wonder if you named this island, did you? You did. It's the Burgos Research Park. You have a ton of policies active in the city, don't you? Don't usually see many people play with the policies this much here. Wonderful. Really, really nice that. And that grabs pretty much all of the central downtown districts here for us. Let's head on to this next landmass over here now across the bridges, shall we? Crossing over the river introduces us to some really interesting terrain, which is something I'd like to note here. As well detailed as this city is, the terrain it's on is by no means flat. You get a real sense of the elevation changes here. There's some really nicely detailed park space down here on the riverfront. Obviously, you can quite easily see how you've managed to hit such a high population setting. Because there's residential everywhere, and it's all pretty much high density as well. I adore this little tram egg turnaround. Isn't that a wonderful shape? The strongest shape, even. Shape of the egg. Wonderful. I'm going to take that as a homage to me directly. And then we'll see favourite patterns of foamy again. These smaller residential blocks mixed with green cities, emerging downtowns. With, again, just such a believable, wonderful cityscape, isn't it? Again, the knowledge of the asset pool Foamy has is clearly on display here. He knows what assets are working nicely next to each other. Nicely formed corner assets. Spikes of medium density, some really fun recolor work here. Some rainbow housing in. And a very good gradient. He did really well to map that out. Very nice. Wonder if you used the hex codes for them, did you? Or did you do it by hand? Who knows? Residential towers, banks, parks make up all this area here. Again, with more respect and love for the grid, I suppose, is what we'll refer to it as. Got some really nice city blocks through here with our mall spaces appearing. More great detailing here. How have you actually done this with the Decals, yeah, you just used the curved decals on the corner, did you? Wasn't that fun? Very nice, actually. This then comes back to the arterial road, where we'll discover more emerging downtown blocks with all the back of them respected. Parks and residential. Emerging downtowns again present. The trams split off across the corner with more detail in where it actually stops. It was such a cool build. Lots of residential out this way. Tons of it, in fact. And it continues. Just endless block of these residential towers and buildings, unicorn parks, service campuses in, schools, disaster response units, or disaster bunkers rather. But we do actually come across the CS Curator's library here. With some shops of Shibuya unit buildings. Over here. That's a great positioning of that on there, especially with all the detail you put outside it here too. And then more of those Shibuya unit buildings also present in there too. Over this way, I'm quite keen to check this out because I've just seen it. Like, look at this. What is going on? Oh my word, for me. These are easily the best train interchanges we've seen in City Showcase. Full stop. It's not getting better than this, I don't think. You've even used the one-way tracks here, which isn't something we see very often at all. One-way train infrastructure. But just, I mean, the train police should be absolutely buzzing with this. My word. Where's it all going? Holy smokes. One of the most elaborate... I mean, it's mainly a rail interchange, isn't it? More than it is road. There's only 2 roads in it. But, which is the main national highway crossing over from the downtown we were at a moment ago over here. A little bit further down, I think, wasn't it, that one? Yeah. Wild for me. Seriously, probably the best train interchange I've ever seen. This is like of the standard of Imperator in terms of infrastructure. Just magnificent. Simply incredible. Just absolutely bonkers. Next to this massive residential district, we'll start discovering factories. Industrial evolution also present here too. With warehouses. And we'll also see one of those train lines peel off into the city here as well, over to a cargo transfer station. Which again, is just fantastic. Really love the one-way flow systems. You had something pretty similar set up in your ports as well, which is always handy, isn't it? And look at that massive sea of residential. There you go. If you want to hit nearly 300,000 people, you've got to use this much high density residentials. Look at it flowing back to the skyline we were at a moment ago. Just vanilla emerging downtowns. So many different styles here. Just huge. I think if anything this is teaching me that I possibly underuse high density residential. But for a reason. Because it will screw your frame rate if you have so much of it. But you do end up with a very powerful visual. Over here, back from the shops with Shibuya unit buildings, we'll see the fan zone park here, which is partnered with the festival site in orbit of the Opera House and a couple of the museums also down here too. As we see the Gherkin, the Expo Centre off the arterial. This is coming back from the sea of residential where we saw the Unicorn Park here. Into malls, towers, temples as well, down here on the corner. This is then taking us back further north where we'll see more temples. Nice arrangements of death care tucked in here as well. The Sphinx, surprisingly, also present over this way. Is this a named park, I wonder? The presence of the Sphinx has piqued my interest. Kibu Dani is the name of the build. Perhaps something Asian inspired given the presence of the temple. Then we come across our first major park life area in the form of a zoo, which has a botanical garden and the spider building out front of it. Very nice. Alongside some really nice plaza detailing. Bike racks. I like you've done bike rack detailing here. With benches around the corner of a tree. Look how ridiculous the jacarandas look in the snowfall theme. They're almost like pearlescent, aren't they? Why does it look like that? That's so funny. Hilarious. Pearlescent trees. And this is a real nice park. Again, you can see the gradient it's transitioning here with the viewpoint. Simple attractions, usual collection of zoo stuff. All of which has had the fence drawn around it. And it actually comes under the arterial road here as well, which is a really nice integration of road into park area. Can't imagine the animal police will be too happy about it, but I think it's nice. This then culminates in a bridge crossing, again with another little Ferris wheel tucked in here. Into an aquarium, of course, which is such a nice accompanying building for a zoo. Out on its own little island here. I really love that park area. We'll also discover some fishing wharfs down here too. With plenty of office space, also some hotels. Fish markets. And lots of pedestrian skywalk also present over here. Heading down the main road again, which has such a key arterial sightline down here, doesn't it? We'll see more fishing on the coast. Again, and just if everyone can stop and appreciate the very subtle node controller work that Fermi's done across the entire city. It's not lost on me. Ziggurat Garden and the Eden project together. This must be a named build, surely. Kareen's Butterbug Ranch. Couldn't begin to speculate as to what that might be. But combinations of very, again for lack of a better word, obnoxious buildings here. Eden Project, Ziggurat Garden, vertical farms and the biodomes. Very over-the-top buildings, aren't they? With the weather station. And one of the campus unit buildings, environmental studies building also present here. With dorms at the same time. There's a slaughterhouse present. I think it's such a wild mix of buildings. Like, if we just take this section here, we'll go from industrial coastline to insanely elaborate green-themed park and research buildings, into slaughterhouses and commercial, into transfer stations and farming, into just more of it. It's just such a mad, very realistic mix of buildings. Again, with more wonderfully placed corner emerging downtowns on these key arterial roads here. The tram infrastructure is also worth noting as well. Trams are everywhere through the whole city, which is obviously good in my books. Love my trams. Stunning. Across from this, we'll see some market vibes. The Korean food market, the old faithful green cities aesthetic of food markets. I guess any kind of farmer's market really doesn't have to be specifically food, does it? With some farming and office space. And also one of the snowfall parks in here as well. And then greenhouses. Back onto that industrial waterfront we were at a moment ago. Again, just a moment to love and adore the grid of Gridgrad. Fantastic planning for me. Really good. This is made up of blocks of residential. Emerging downtowns. Formations we're used to seeing now. Slightly embanked industrial district here is also really nice, especially against the arterial road. Bringing us up to the first interchange on this little ramp here. Again, which is such an interesting system, isn't it? Isn't that really nice? I'm seeing interchange formations I've never seen here before in the city today. And again, more wonderful. Emerging downtowns work along our main arterial streets here. Really, really wonderful stuff. appropriate corner gas stations, big factories through here. Again, which are all transitioning that layer, which I really like. As much cycling infrastructure as we've seen in the city, we haven't seen an enormous amount of cyclists, have we? Like there's 2 in shot right here, I think. There's one. The one just went down the road. There he is. But we're also seeing some of the mountain village stuff present on the street corners here as well. So, I mean, this is what I mean by knowledge of the asset pool. Like knowing what assets work really nicely on corners. Just like this main street visual is a good example of that, isn't it? I might even get a little screenshot here actually. That's a really nice sight line down that road, isn't it? Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. There's metro tucked in behind. Fire guys here too. Do you mean like there's so much to explore here? I absolutely know I'm going to miss something in these city blocks. They're all just so immaculately crafted, aren't they? Like we can just move on this kind of isometric angle here, admiring every little corner. And which has all been factored in. Every major arterial corner has been paid attention to. Little angled metro station here. This time it's yellow. Is that servicing a yellow line? It is. That's so cool. You've color coordinated your stations to the line. Never seen anyone do that before, to be quite honest. Very nice for me. That's another extra layer of detail, isn't it? That's why the other station was blue earlier, wasn't it? Because it's on the blue line. Very London of you to do that. But yeah, again, right, the corners are all taken care of. Mixing of Brooklyn and Queens. Vanilla emerging downtowns again, just... And I think if anything, we're seeing how bloody good emerging downtowns is in this city, aren't we? It really has so many varieties and uses. Just down this street alone, emerging downtowns is playing such a heavy role, isn't it? Especially on the corner units here. Fantastic for me. Really, really good, my friend. Such a talented builder. I'll give you more fawning at the sign-up of the video. But just in the midst of the showcase. It's very good. I'm very keen to see this little junction down here. This is interesting. So just a major arterial crossing where we got 2 tram systems crossing here actually. With some supplementary slip lanes either side. I can see you've also removed the right turns here as well, so traffic manager please should be ecstatic with this. Makes those turning lanes much more appropriate. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Off of this we'll see big plaza spaces at the front of the aquatic centre. With a tram stopping nearby here as well. But like, there's so many roads in the city, isn't there? So many little angles and little things to see and do. Where are we heading here? We're heading up toward the airport, which we'll grab and then grab the rest of this stuff over here. Where we're going this general direction. Mass water storage near the tram depot. Also some sewage works here too. And nicely orientated against a slightly elevated highway. Across these areas we'll see more recoloured homes. And this brings us all the way down into more residential. With a really nice arterial structure through here. Road planning and road hierarchy is not a problem for me, evidently, is it? But more residential designs here. Mostly green cities. Meets a little bit of vanilla commercial. Saunas, playgrounds. General nice outer lying suburban vibes. We won't cross the bridge. Although I do want to cross the bridge just to see what those are. With a little colourful farming here. We're hitting some hard frames out here though. Something's hitting us over this way. We'll come back to that. But we do stumble across the international airport. Which has some very interesting ideas. We've got metro and train, is that? It's really hard to tell. It's both metro lines, isn't it? Yeah. So let's get a sense of the airport. As always, we'll check out the view here. With a immaculately designed, very symmetrical airfield. Great stuff. Front of the terminal, you've mixed and matched all of the different styles. And of course, if you didn't know, on Snowfall maps, you do get kind of black terminals, which is really cool. The plane out the front is a very nice touch. I really like that. Again, it has to be said, with a slightly egg-shaped entrance, which goes very well in my book. And then across the airport control tower here, with incredible views across the entire city from here. Really shows off the scale of it from this point, doesn't it? It's kind of insane, actually. Just how big this build is. Over here by the hangars, we'll see airport refueling depots, warehouses, a snow dump in here as well. With some really nice airport fencing here. Little bits of industry tucked in as well, which is a very nice complement to your airfield. Couple helicopter depots. Down the front of the airport we'll see loads of IT cluster, shopping, the big casino with multiple hotels from the airport's DLC. Elaborate carousel detailing again. Helicopter park with a metro out here. And also one of the train stations, which is a little busy. Wonder where that train line is heading, actually. There he is. Speak of the devil. Back over that way. We'll follow that out the airport in a second. With the airport headline, headquarters, transit plaza, plane museum. All very, very nice stuff. Different hotels. After Dark and Hotels DLC present here. And with a really clever use of the After Dark assets out front of the hotels here. Which I guess is helping to meet its demand, isn't it? Yeah, because it's got all this commercial so close to it. It's a clever way that of getting the hotels to hit their ranking system. Which I won't go into because I don't like it. But that's a fun way to do it. Very creative. And which wraps up a pretty small but tasteful airport facility. Really like it, especially the front, the entrance of the terminal here with the plane. Really nice that. Just off the airport we'll see another really fun interchange from Fermi. It just gets great flow, doesn't it? Now, what else do we have to play with out here? We'll follow these networks out because yet again I can see more pretty elaborate train infrastructure beginning to take place. Oh my god. Look at that. Isn't that insane? That's so cool. I would have no idea how to build anything like this. Like to even plan this in, to have it not only look good, which it does, but to have it logistically make sense is like some seriously good train planning. Easily the best of the City Showcase series so far. I know we had maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 episodes ago, I had an episode that we titled, "Are these the best train networks in any city?" They were, until we saw Fermi's. Not that City Showcase is any kind of competition, but there's levels, you know? And Fermi is at the top of his train game, clearly. I think it'll be a while before we see any train networks like this again. Over here, Fermi's residential patterns of the 1x1 commercials. Tower blocks in a few different formations here. More appreciation for Node Controller. If we can actually get some comments down below today that just say simply cul-de-sac appreciation for all of these that we've seen across the city today. Detailed mountain village buildings here with their own custom fountains. With some motels. Also present with a gas station and a little fast food restaurant behind it. That's a really nice accompaniment for the motel building, actually. And then it looks like this dissipates into European suburbia. Off into some more yellow snow, which is just nice farmland. Base game and DLC out here. Before we see another prison. Just tucked into the edge of the map. Which is a pretty bleak existence out here, isn't it? Don't get arrested in Gridgrad. Or anywhere, for that fact. And then over the interchanges here, big, winding, flowy national road interchanges. With the national road taking us over the hills and far away into many different areas in a seemingly never-ending city, isn't it? More really nice interchanges over here, passing over all that insane rail work. And then back into the second of the city's campuses, this time a liberal arts campus, making use of, I guess, two of the unique buildings in this instance, because we saw the School of Environmental Studies over there somewhere, didn't we? But again, this is a really nice build. Nice and compact, symmetrical with the pathways and the alignment of the assets. I do enjoy my campuses. Indeed, with people currently graduating. Although it's not a very big class, is it? The others wasn't have passed their grades. Again, you've even put the Brandenburg Gate outside the campus building. That's a great asset combination. Really love that. On a related note, the Brandenburg Gate asset would probably work quite nicely with the commencement office as well. Almost as if they're hosting the ceremony at the gate. Something to be explored there, I think. Yeah, great stuff. Really nice alignment of the big unique buildings present in here too. You even put the music stuff in the campus, which isn't something I've seen before. Across here we'll see the gymnasium. Partnered with a varsity sports building. Little baseball arena here. Before we come on to the Mall of Marvels. Again, with loads of detail packed in through here. Little plaza. More hotels. Shops. Lots of fun. Mall of Marvels, of course, such a good asset from King Leno's malls. Which then brings us into this alternate grid formation, which makes a real impact to the road network, doesn't it? When you see the angle shift 45 degrees. It can help break, like if you're doing the grid, I think, you know, grid evidently in today's build can be very beautiful, but it's also very, I think, easy to make it boring. So a shifted angle like this can really help just shape things up, can't it? And here we have residential, childcare parks of varying different quality and type, ice rinks, playgrounds, little bits of medium density residential over here as well. And I'm almost sure I've missed something in this grid formation here. There'll be some little bit of detail we haven't found, simply due to the scale. But stunning, really stunning. Let's check out this little bit here now, shall we? So coming into the next phase of this absolutely monstrous city, we can enjoy more grid of Gridgrad, which is operating on a much more shifted angle this time than the other ones. And just in an admiration, I always love the satellite views just to see how people plan a city. But this is like to a really fine degree. The interchanges through here, arterial road structures, navigating terrain at that as well. Great stuff. We'll start on the outer edge. Over here, where we can find a little bum cheek cul-de-sac over here with a snow dump, warehouse and recycling centre. For some reason, the frames are significantly lower this side of this. I wonder if it's the trees. I bet it is, isn't it? I bet it's all the evergreens here. That's dropping the frame rate for us. Probably is. Huge swaths, of course, of outer-lying European suburbia, which give you the outer-lying crawl, which again is just a testament to the beautiful views that you get across this entire map. You'll have to let us know if you publish the map for me, because I'm sure some people will probably be keen to play on it after this. Leave us a comment down below. Well, this is wonderful. Really nice pool detailing. Little assets in here. What asset is this? I actually don't recognise that one. The Oak Hill Public Library. Must be a custom asset, is it? And then over here, across the double metro track, which we'll see where that goes to. Looks like one splits off back onto a downtown circuit over there. We'll see more yellow snow and farmland. Again, some really nice custom farming yard detailing available here with the barracks, silos, barns. Even a little playground down here as well. Isn't that fun? And snowmen. Isn't that nice? Wait, is this custom? Or is this an asset? Yeah, it's a snowman park, yeah, of course. Obviously. But yeah, love the snowman in here. Your farming districts are really nice. Seeing those rainbow silos we saw earlier as well. Before the coast takes us back over. Nice outer line green suburbia before those 1x1 high density residential patterns kick back in. Where I can also spy more recoloured dormitories ahead as well. I will head this way. Up toward, I guess, what is definitely the secondary skyline here. Even spying the Cathedral of Plentitude on the hill over there as well. Yeah, this is very nice. I really like your use of recolour across the city, especially on the university dorms. With the Grand Library, all the university assets, high density residential and commercial, all dotting these really wonderful flowing networks. And trams are just everywhere. I'm actually keen to see just how many tram lines are in the city, because we've seen so many of them today. Let's have a little look at our trams. And you've named them as well. Great stuff. This one here actually is the busiest tram line in the city. So hopefully we'll see that in action today as well. Maybe over by this Metro Convergence is where it's getting a lot of traffic. It looks like it is. Hopefully get a sense of scurry here. Fantastic. Look at that. All 275,000 people moving around. The metro, underground metro stop here too. Very nice little plaza. With some really interesting car parking configurations. Oh, this is the front of the building, isn't it? I thought this was custom car parking. It's not. It's the front of the athletics track. Very nice. I also don't think I've seen that snow effect on the racetrack either before. Did we place the asset in the area? I don't think we did we? Can't remember. Years ago. As we keep heading down the coast, the recolor dorms keep appearing with wall to wall. Again, which has also been recolored with some Brooklyn and Queens stuff. Allowing for such a colourful city, isn't it? We've not seen too much recolor work on City Showcase, but Foamy is absolutely making up for that. Let's get a sense of this downtown here as we approach it. We're coming across a highway and big blocks again of emerging downtown to Brooklyn and Queens. The favourite Foamy patterns recurring again here. Really nice layering here with the bridge coming over. Very dramatic interchange vibes. Nice little slip lanes off to the right here. Simple connections. We'll also see some more renewed history assets in here. Again, just the blend of warehouse, hotel, unit building, garbage, industry, car parking. Like, it's just such a unique mix of buildings, isn't it? And every city block you look at is a unique mix of styles. Romy did say in his submission that he's worked on this for many years, and it is abundantly clear that he has done. This is a passion project that's taken a long time to complete. The Central Park and the secondary skyline is dominated by the luxury hotel, high interest tower, the Korean towers, Eiffel Tower of course, and then a lot of commercial and residential towerage. I really love the Eiffel Tower heading up the Central Park, especially with all the wonderful detailing you've done around the edge of it. Yes please. Hello people. Very nice, mate. Very nice indeed. Really like this. Did you gas drop hangout markers? Yeah, because this is all prop detailing. I guess they're just visiting the tower, are they? But they just visit on the ground floor. I mean, I suppose that makes sense, doesn't it? And then again, there's repetitive plaza and symmetry just off the arterial. It's so fun to look across the streets of this city, isn't it? Across these pearlescent jacarandas, at least. Amazing. There's such wonderful sight lines everywhere you look. It's a shame it's quite a difficult city to run with it being so old, but my word, it is very welcome. For the record, by the way, if you do want to load into this map, the more vehicles mod was missing from the playset, but was required to load in. I think because it's extending a game limit, if that's removed, the game hard crashes with simulation errors I've never seen before. Shout out to Lans for helping me get into the build, because it was very much worth it. Off the downtown here, we'll see a little roundabout junction with the arterial passing through with the trams. Connecting into an amusement park, also with a metro station. With a lot of fun and games here, and classic amusement park vibes. Very condensed down. I love this detailing you've done here. This is really nice, actually. Isn't it, with the plaza in the middle there? And then pretty much all the main amusement park assets in here. With the birthday cake. And the Ferris wheel. With more parks and plazas and more cake. And more parks. All over here. Which is very nice looking. Nice, beautiful designs as always. Cable car across the falls. Very dramatic. I love how you've integrated such a massive geological feature into the city. Very Niagara, that, isn't it? Very tourist attraction-y waterfalls. Super cool. Especially with the cable car spanning the gorge too. That's really nice. Super. Absolutely super. From here, let's grab these buildings on the edge as the park space continues with cake. This looks like access down into the gorge, doesn't it here? Yeah, down to those fishing huts. Anyway, plenty of people are enjoying the park here. Up to park maintenance. Your use of these assets here, we've seen this across everywhere basically. I would sometimes describe it as an overuse of an asset, but I don't know. I think it's just the way they're sat in these blocks. Especially with how they look behind. They're just, it's quite an effective, repetitive pattern, isn't it? I do like them. I think because you've used it so much, it's become acceptable again. Do you know? Like, you can use an asset too much, but then you carry on doing it, it becomes normal, it becomes fine again. It's like kind of a joke. Okay, it's so bad it's funny, sort of vibes. But yeah, something I'm really enjoying about the showcase. I think it offers quite a nice social housing solution for the official asset pool, I suppose. And then ice rinks, pools, and more of these perfectly formed city blocks with the commercial behind. Very, very nice. But European Suburbia takes us over the hill. That's just the tram as well, arriving at this behemoth of a show, which is the Cathedral of Plentitude, partnered with the statue of Colossus in a big central park formation. I really love what you've done here with the statue, how you've kind of blended it in with the key. That's really nice. Of course, lots of symmetry, lots of geometry around these big assets here. We can probably get a much grander appreciation for this here. Look at that. Cathedral Plentitude, definitely one of the harder assets to use, but you've done a pretty nice job here. And I love the Anarchid Plaza's fountain here. That's very cool. Bit of modern art there for you, that, isn't it? Again, with decals and detailing all around it. Let's look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Death care blended in, car parking. Mountain Village, hotel assets. Oh no, that's just hotel asset, that one, isn't it? And some Green Cities apartments. Low density residential as we leave that park, really. Let's grab this mass of city in front of the Cathedral of Plentitude here. We'll follow the arterial down into pretty much just a vast green cities swath here. High and low density residential. With your usual collection of libraries, parks, saunas. Little mini school campuses here, which are just faithfully decorated. Little tree lines and parking next to the school. Sometimes simplicity can be very effective, can't it? Same thing here again as well. Parking and school assets to make a little tree-lined school campus. They don't always have to be these elaborate complexes. A little bit of a broadcast center here with the two television and radio buildings next to each other. Again, as we can get a sense of the terrain that this city is navigating here. Not remotely flat, is it? More of these little social housing vibes again. See what I mean? They're everywhere, aren't they? They're literally everywhere. Do you just love this asset for me? Is this why you went for so much of it through the whole area? Or through the whole city? Because it's easily one of the most used assets we've seen here. But it does just form this nice outer lying block residential, doesn't it? This shot right here just ties it all together. It just blends in so well with everything else you put around it. Really glorious stuff. There's so much fun in this city. Just immaculate designs. The Copper Bowl Arena, of course, next to the park, will acknowledge that. With appropriate stadium car parking and stadium beer gardenage all available here too. Very nice. This then takes us really back into the bulk of this city here, looping back round to this side of the downtown. We will acknowledge yet more really quite masterful interchange work, I'm going to say here. Really love that. There's evidence of a master at work in this city, I think. A nice little industrial area here. Which again, this is what I'm walking away from in this city. Is this like authentic, believable space. Excuse the frame rate here. Right, you're just walking through from car park to the back of the building, and then there's like a door where workers will be accessing. Crates, and this just, it continues, it doesn't stop, right? There's all these little alleyways that make up a believable city space. You're a master at it for me. It's a treat to look at. Love this here, another tram depot. And again, commercial and industrial. Tons of warehouses mixed in here too. Road maintenance, garbage. Really nice way to blend industrial and commercial here. Off the back of an arterial road. Very tasty indeed. Over here. More really nice corner arterial work. Plenty of tram walking action down here as well. I think we're seeing the fruits of those busiest tram lines here now, aren't we? I love that. Like crawling over to the right side of the Cathedral of Plentitude Hill. Our European suburbia and one by one high density patterns continue. Which runs then parallel with the highway with pedestrian pathways back across the highway. More little node controlled cul-de-sacs here. Tucked away. And this flows down into services, unique mall spaces, again with appropriate car parking. That's a great asset combination actually. I love the warehouse next to the supermarket there. That's really nice. And you're the first city I've seen with a major surplus of taxis. Like, never seen them waiting like this before. Right, this then continues down into more metro. Tram plaza cutting through here. And again, we mentioned at the start of the video, the master of layers is continuing his fine work through all these spaces here as well. All that layering. And then nice city blocks again, just so perfectly formed, aren't they? Just so realistic. Like this shot right here. Amazing. This comes through up into Metro, which again then has recoloured emerging downtowns on the back of Industrial Evolution, which just gives you like that again, right? See what I mean? Like there's the spaces like this everywhere. Like just so well stitched together. And like, it's fine to be able to do this, but to keep the same standard across a city that's this big, it's really good going, and the reason why it's obviously taken years to complete. More great network design here as the trams move around the neighborhood. Human chirper is over here before we arrive at another cargo station. Just behind the Cathedral of Plentitude Park, we have a major train loop here. Train police happy with this? I imagine they will be. Very dramatic, isn't it? Quite cool though. Nice way to transition a train gradient up a hill. At this side of the highway, we'll resume back over to see services, sewage and garbage processing mainly. Also seeing some of those new billboards that were added in the Race Day DLC as well in here. Very nice. Dino Oil by the Dino Oil petrol station. Again, I'm going to point it out every time I see it. Gorgeous formed city blocks here, with this elevated metro line running alongside. Which pretty much takes us back down, I think, toward the arterial we started this bit of the city on. Loads of green cities houses in here. Again, so much high density residential. Seaside resort stuff also present, which is quite a nice combination actually with perhaps some of the older emerging downtown stuff. Not seen too much of these assets in the snow either, the seaside resort one. Fantastic. Roundabout here with pedestrian overpass. That's a very interesting configuration there. You've connected it straight into a toll booth here, and which is taking us over the hills and far away. I dare. So we'll go up there in a second. Let me grab this bit first. Yeah, we're coming to much more older vibes here. Mountain village and European assets reappearing for us, which again is a vibe I really like. I do like the little European sections that we stumble upon here. That's a great use of that park, especially with all the paths around it here. Super nice, that. And then hotels, mountain village and European assets, which is a really nice combination of DLCs there, isn't it? Mountain village here. And here as well, actually. With European and some of the hotel assets. A unique asset combination, that one. Don't think I've ever seen that one before. The Snow Castle is also back here with the European assets. Before this brings us back down to more major green cities suburbia. Commercial. Back to the highway interchange. And a really interesting tram loop turnaround configuration here by the depot. Where those trams are then heading back out onto their lines. Just massive, absolutely enormous. Like, this whole space here is just... I mean, the whole city is. There's endless vastness. It's some of the more realistic scale I've seen put together in CS1, I think, out of any city I've ever seen. From these roundabouts, leaving the highway interchange, we're going to head up the hill through the frame rate murdering evergreen forest, up a very long, very twisty mountain road, which is taking us, I'm going to guess, to a castle installation up here. Absolutely is. Of multiple different themes. So does this have, this must be a ski resort or something, right? Cardigos, is that the name? Cardigos West. TU Cardigos. Okay. Let's have a look what we got going on here. I think clearly a tourism vibe, especially with so many cabins and hotel castle looking buildings across the area. Gives me ski resort vibes. And this is a really interesting placement of the seaside resort building, which is supposed to function as a pier, but you have obviously repurposed it. Which hopefully has glorious views. It does indeed, of course. On top of the mountain here. People even using the nature reserve pathways. They just snake across the mountain, do they? Yep, there you go. That's probably the better viewpoint here, isn't it? To enjoy if we'd take Take another screenshot here. Wonderful. Super low density residential appears here before we mix in with some campus assets and European buildings, which is a great asset combination again. Really nice stuff. And then pedestrianisation through here, which I have to say at the foot of the snowy mountains is a really, really nice vibe. I really like how this looks here. Stunning stuff. And then, oh, especially that. What a view that is, right? With the castle spires just behind the European stuff. That's amazing, isn't it? And so, of course, the Lord Churchwick Castle partnered with the Castle Hotel and a Mountain Village asset. Mountain Resort, whichever one it's called. You know which DLC I'm talking about. With cafes and attractions down in the bottom. Really nice castle combination, that. Very impressive. This comes down to Christmas Market. Africa assets also present in here too. The old style train station. From Seaside Resorts, of course. With the Locomotive Museum. Christmas markets. I love the older vibe here. Very much, what's that Canadian town called? Where they had the Winter Olympics. Whistler, is it? I think it's Whistler, isn't it? It's it reminds me very much of that. Not that I've ever been, but I've seen pictures, I think. I'm pretty sure it's Whistler, isn't it? North of Vancouver, you guys know what I'm talking about. Across the rails here, we'll see a little industrial area. Power, fire, zoned industry again. Complementing more really nice blocks put together here. Like even that is a great combination, isn't it? 2 service points and a bit of car parking makes for a really nice little block there. Timber storage. Industry and transfer centres. Well, that takes us back to the edge here, where we can see these trains coming down a hill, which the train police, I'm sure, will be keeping a keen eye on as to where they're going over there. But a really nice little mountain town, to be honest. Really, really cute. I love how you've put all this together. It does have some further designs over here with nice little outpost for the sewage works here, using some of the carports and a small office. And then over here, we actually have the aviation club, partnered with more of the mountain resort assets and some hotels and a bit of industry also present here. But again, just a really wonderful execution of the official asset pool. That doesn't stop here either. We'll carry on going further up. The frame rate is much nicer up here. Yes, please. Hello. Oh, smooth, almost smooth buttery frames. With another arch present in here. Well, we'll come up the hills to what looks like an observatory. And another town. We're totally hidden away up here. We have the radar dish. Partnered with the park maintenance and some watchtowers up here. It actually extends into a park atop the hill. Coming down into a smaller mountain village town here. Pretty similar vibes to what we saw earlier. Look at that. Oil train passing through the mountain town is very nice, isn't it? Mostly green cities residential through here. Before it carries on up through the middle into a much wider town space. Which is made up of some high-tech buildings, disaster response, rescue, various helicopter depots, campus laboratories. And then more of the mountain village green cities aesthetic. With that classic pattern available. With these circular homes. And nice aesthetic detailing here with the train station right in the town centre with the mountain village assets around it. Just a treat to look at, really. This carries on to small suburbia with small industry. Right on the very map edge here. You've really utilised the whole map space, haven't you? It's been, everything's been accounted for, really. Which is just a treat to see. The observatory is also up here. Connected via cable car. The lungs of the city are also up here. With some green cities markets and smaller seaside resort buildings in orbit of the observatory as well. Taking us up to a possible final viewpoint within this nature reserve here. Giving us just a wildly impressive view across a vast expanse of a city, right? Another screenshot, yes please. Really splendid stuff. Real nice. What a bit of the city. Insane. Let's bite into the last third of it now. As we make progress into the deep mountain ranges of Gridgrad here. So reorientating ourselves from where we were earlier, we'll come back into this interchange we commented on the edge of the downtown. To arrive at a new train station opposite a hopefully busy metro bus hub, yes please. Let's have a little sense of where all these buses are heading out, shall we? So we've got actually just the one internal line. Those other stations are intercity lines. Because they're very busy. Very nice. Oh, buses. Lower down, there we go. Wonderful. And then out here, more wonderful integration of tram infrastructure going in all directions out of this hub. Literally all directions. Down to motels and commercial on the main street. Heading up into a green cities suburb out this way, which we'll grab while we're here. Nice little cafes. So that's the public library asset, I think, is it? One we saw earlier. This goes all the way down the road. Tasteful green cities. Occasional seaside resort assets, death care. Before this kind of tapers off up the hill. Up to a little rotunda using one of the mountain village assets. Very nice indeed. This will probably have one of the best views in the city. Yeah, there you go. Isn't that glorious? I love how you've respected the viewpoints from the top of the mountain over there where we just were. But also from these slightly less impressive viewpoints, but still equally as important. I just love how you've done this. Outside connection, I believe, yeah, running parallel to the highway down here. And a sense of the gradient in change here from how high the downtown is from, I guess, the waterline down by the river. Over here, Mountain Village and emerging downtowns again, kind of showing the versatility of emerging downtowns. That it can sit amongst this sort of stuff, right? And I don't want to lose the initial town we were looking at. Let's head back over this way. Okay, where most of this is made up of these green cities apartment blocks in different formations, isn't it? With the snowfall assets sprinkled in between. Gyms, parks, schools. All orientated very nicely against the highway with this little boreal forest boundary. I'd say I really do like the aesthetic of really dense, snowy, boreal pine forest, all using the same tree. I think it's probably one of the better forests in CS1, to be honest. Very nice. Through here, we'll find a little bit of industry, some forestry processing, so close to residential here as well, but no one is complaining. Some industrial evolution also included, again, just to fill out a little awkward corner. Very nice. Up into this town centre here on the hill. It's more of the same this side of the map, really. Green cities and services in pretty much endless variety of formation. More node-controlled cul-de-sacs through this way. Before there was little mountain roads snake up and off again into that area we just saw. Which brings us into this next massive town over here. Again, just to appreciate the road planning hierarchy in this bit of the city. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this side of the interchange here. But shifted angle grid holds the vast majority of the suburbia. Again, we're hitting the frames out this way, I think because we've got so much pine forest nearby. That really seems to be what affects the frames for the worst part of it, really. A little bit more medium density here. Of the usual styles. Malls, school campuses, soft paper factory here as well, which is interesting. Again with authentic little alleyways crafted between cul-de-sacs. And more really wonderfully chosen commercial corner buildings. With medium density apartments mixed in. Your use of blending different types of zoning is also something very evidently strong in your skill set, Fermi. Having the RCI blended so realistically without causing any simulation issues is a talent, and one you clearly have within your skill set. Here is the rest of that industrial area. We'll see the wood vision. Orientated against the main road. Is there anything more CS1 than this? Absolutely not. With the toy factory also in here. With another prison. The placement of the prisons is fairly random. I wonder if you're almost repurposing these as something. We saw them, two of them by the start of the video, didn't we, in the Statue of Liberty area. Also see, hopefully, some of this train traffic arriving here off this. More wild networks. Great, so look at that. Look at all this, isn't that gorgeous? That's so cool. It's all active as well, like this is all getting used. It's not just for show and tell, is it? It's for function. Form and function, everyone. Down here we'll find 4 pulp mills, which is absolutely glorious, one of my favourite assets in the game. Helping us to create a very chungus coastline. Very industrial. A little bit of forestry here. And another brutalist building also present over here too, which is a very nice accompaniment to the local industry, isn't it? Just those trains in the background, my word. Really great stuff. This is going to throw us across the river, and I really want to check out how we're coming off these interchanges. So we've got a tunnel here. This is going to bring us... Oh, look at that. Perhaps that's some of the best layering in the city we've seen so far. That's so nice. I love what you did with the tram roundabout here. I'm going to steal this for Ilium, almost 100%. That's so cool. Over this way, we'll find a little bit of industry, the ultimate recycling centre, with warehouses and campus unit buildings as we approach the third and final campus, which we'll grab the main building first. Which you've used the academic library, which is such a nice asset combination with the university city style. With the School of Medicine, even some of the European unique buildings in here too, which is a combination I am quite happy with. Another excellent execution of campus. Big buildings respected in their own blocks. Supplementary dormitory buildings, this time in the shape of European assets. With all of the unique campus assets in here as well. Really nice. School of Law is here too. Wonderful. We'll see a recessed arterial road as we come past this basketball arena, which also hosts a plaza with a really cool way of integrating the tram, as that just kind of sides through the road network on the rotated 45-degree angle. Can't stress how much I like that. That's so nice. Isn't that so much fun? Like, that's just... I love the road design. The road design has impressed me as much as anything else, I think. Especially the amount of trams you've used. Easily. The most amount of trams I think we've seen in the city. On City Showcase, that is, of course. As we approach these diverging arterial roads, we'll head up to these other roundabouts here where we can see in more really dramatic layers and interchanging of trains here under the road network. There you go. If you ever need inspiration as to how to integrate a train line, that should do it for you, because that's just so cool. This tunnel emerges out the other side over here, and bringing us into the sneaker factory we saw earlier, and a bunch of that farming stuff over here. Back over here, we're starting to approach, I guess, what is a third downtown. We kind of have 3, I guess possibly even 4 distinct high-rise sections, don't we? Obviously your main city centre, there's one over here, I guess maybe 5, because there's also one over there as well where we started the showcase. So there's kind of 5 individual city centers, if you like. And again, like, does it just look at that? All the layers, the trains, the metro, just the trams, the roads, like this whole visual here is incredibly impressive for me. It's, I would have quite happily watched this city be built on a YouTube series, as I think many others would for me. Yeah. Very talented designer. It's a joy to look over. We'll grab this industrial site first, where we'll see another transfer station, warehouses, and a little bit of ore industry here as well. The rotary kiln partnered with the steel plant. A bunch of recycling and storage down here. Commercial as well. Further ore processing into the electronics factory is also present here as well. With cargo transfer stations, of course, which is with so much elaborate train infrastructure, you would expect it, right? To have so much train-related building present in the city. Over here, we'll hopefully get a sense of ridership. Oh, yes, we will. That's incredibly busy. So much so, it's barely even clearing the backlog here. Let's see where they go. This is always a test of someone's public transport infrastructure, isn't it? Do they pocket car, or do they go out on their own, I wonder? Yeah, a few waiting for the bus. Others actually then taking this underground metro stop. So converging onto different methods is always nice. Then the secondary skyline here, or I guess the 5th skyline, is hotels, residential, occasional skyscrapers. Brooklyn and Queens. The Eddie Cavongo is also here. One of the Art Deco unit buildings, of course. Again, with all this stuff respected, right? With all this stuff respected. Imagine downtowns, Brooklyn and Queens. Lenovo shopping malls. Isn't that just a great combination of assets there? Goes to show the versatility you can achieve with the DLC and what the globals. If you'd have shown someone this particular street corner like 5 years ago, you'd have said this is all custom assets. But emerging downtowns did a lot for the game, didn't it? Financial districts also present on the main street here as well. No reason why we shouldn't praise financial districts. I'm a changed man these days, everyone. Over here, a little fish market present in the town centre. More taxis waiting. Yeah, I've seen taxis, but I haven't seen any taxi depots. It begs the question, where are they coming from? At least, I'm sure there is taxi depots, I've just not noticed them. We will pay respect to Jerry Sr. with his own little landscaped plaza here. At the back of the City Hall unit building. Which again, with all the towers also having their own design and details. Down in the city centre as well. Even going for some of the surviving Mars assets, which is an interesting choice. Schools, libraries, and big residential blocks continue to make up the rest of this city centre over here. And with the return of the 1x1 base game high density, which very much sponsors this city, doesn't it? This city showcase is brought to you by 1x1 base game high density residential buildings. Specifically this exact one. Another really nice street corner. Art Deco apartment, gas station on the corner, police and fire. Just, there's something about the respect of a street corner for me that I really enjoy. And that's something we've seen a lot in Fermi's build. We also get the little spa hotel, which is a snowfall asset if you're wondering. You won't see this one very often at all, since it's quite hard to use because of what it is. And it's snowfall, so you don't really see it that often. With some nature reserve parks and playgrounds taking us down to the riverfront here. Which is actually kind of flowing off the mountain, I suppose, is it? Yeah, it is here. Oh, a hydroelectric dam even to explore over there. Wonderful, we'll check that out as well. Before we do, we'll continue heading up this way, past the steel plant and indeed the strip mines, which we missed earlier. Animated crane, tooth excavators. Up to pretty much outlying suburbia here. More of your favourite foamy patterns. Is it appropriate to say that we can foam over this city? Possibly not. Because it depends how people might interpret that. But I am certainly fawning, if anything. Perhaps it's not massively appropriate to say I'm foaming over the city. But you could say that. Again, you get a really nice view back down to that mini city centre over here. This then takes us tantalisingly into some mountain networks which are heading... Oh yeah, these are the roads back to this interchange over here, isn't it? By the yellow snowfields. Yeah. Big appreciation and love for the national road infrastructure. That's a lot of fun. Then up and over here, we've even got an overflow for the river, which must have been a nightmare to terraform. This comes down here as a waterfall. I guess as a spillover for the dam. Which sits very proudly here. And then over here, we have more European suburbia. Mixed with a little bit of the mountain resort assets here. Which ones are these mountain resort? I think they are, aren't they? Mountain village or countryside. One of those packs. They all blend into one these days. And then this big European suburbia hillside takes us pretty much in orbit with the rest of the town. Nicely detailed plazas here. Ice rinks at the back of Eldercare. Can't imagine the elders get too much ice skating done. Or maybe that can be the city's version of Ilos beekeeping, right? You can go ice skating in your 90s. I kind of love all these little older style buildings here. Which has just glorious views across to the rest of the city, doesn't it? Big bridges, everything just coming down here. Just so much fun. It's pretty much more of the same on the outlying suburbias. Which is not anything to complain about, but it's stuff we're familiar with at this point, nearly probably 2 hours into this showcase at this point. This will easily be the longest one. We'll cross over the river here. Into definitely the last chunk of the city sitting this side of the river. We'll come back to this area where we saw the campus crossing over the river. Into Mountain Village, and which is all just immaculately detailed with these little path planters lining after dark assets, swordfish grills. This takes us up into another park entrance, which is tied into all this wider nature reserve stuff on the hill before we come down the main street. Very much the Green Cities side of the map, this, isn't it? Wonder if you went with that because it's a little bit more mountainous over here. But you get a real sense of the layers the city's built on there, don't you? Look in that direction. Nice metro designs here. And just more perfect blending of all my favourite DLCs as well. Shopping malls, green cities, emerging downtowns have been used in excess here, which is happy for me. More really nice industrial. Use of these here from the Industrial Revolution pack is very nice. I've noted you use these kind of triangular warehouse things in a few different instances, which hasn't gone unnoticed. I really like how you've used them. Or nice little city blocks here, dirty, grungy alleyways off the back of the car parking. Love that. Love an alleyway. More cargo train transfer stations, of course, as the arterial passes over that train line, which is looping under here, before we really wrap things up with more tasteful, outer-lying green cities suburbia, which is the road that then crosses us back onto this side of the map here. So just a really wonderful spectacle. A little bit of hotels and mountain village action happening up here. Little bus stop too, just by the ice rink. And what looks like more nature reserve pathways. Yes, it is indeed. So in all honesty, genuinely one of the better cities we've ever been sent on this series, so make sure I've missed no outer line builds snuck into these mountain ranges as we stumbled upon an entire town a moment ago. Yeah, and I did actually go ahead and grab Watch It, So I'm very keen to see the city's limits, to see what's happening here. So it's coming to watch it. Let's show the panel. Net nodes are at 98%. I'm guessing that's what killed the project for you, was it? Net segments at 91% as well. 97% events. 99% citizen instances, which is very important because more citizen units was required. There you go, you can see this value's been modded. As it also has been with the vehicles. These capacities have been modded. So you've hit pretty much most of the vanilla thresholds. This is what was stopping me from loading, by the way, Fermi. You didn't have more vehicles in your Sky playset. So when we were hard crashing with weird errors, it was this limit not being accounted for. Yeah, you would have been over your tree limit, but it's obviously been modded. And yeah, you've modded your extra citizen path units as well. So yeah, you're pretty much done with the city, aren't you, because of your node limit. That's what will kill you. You're 500 nodes away, pretty much, from hitting the node count, which is such a shame. And I'm guessing that's why you haven't developed this side of the river, because you probably would have done, right? Or at least this island here. Because I think, and to be fair as well, like, I know you've made this map yourself. I'm not sure if you're a seasoned map maker at all. But this is a really nice snowfall map. Really wild terrain, decent mountain ranges with some pretty interesting water features to be had as well. So, yeah, not only a big round of applause for the city, but also for the map making as well. You've done a tremendous job. Really, really nice. But otherwise, guys, we will leave that city showcase there. Easily one of the most elaborate, well-detailed, well-thought-out and well-planned cities we've ever had submitted to the series. Possibly my favourite build so far. I know we've had some really nice ones in City Showcase, but something about this one, I think it's really the formation of the city blocks and Foamy's excellent knowledge of the asset pool to be able to use the right asset in the right place. That just comes with hours in the game, just knowing the assets. It's something I want to be better at in CS2, just because I don't know all the assets yet and exactly the best place to use them. But I do in CS1, and clearly Foamy does as well. Huge round of applause for this one, everyone. Please show him lots of love down in the comments below. Don't forget, if you want your work to feature next time, links are in the video description to a Google form. Fill that out. I'll do my best to get back to you. And of course, an enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons bankrolling these videos. If you want to get involved, again, links in the video description as always. Well, enjoy the cinematics, and there'll likely be a couple of shorts from this city as well. But I'll shut up and leave it there. Thank you all again so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.